People learning to march here. They're probably going to relieve these people. Of course, they're just learning. These are all cadets. I have news to put out, but I'm just right now showing you this because I didn't do justice to this area when I was here 2 videos ago. This is Victory Square, and the school I go to is not too far from here. But I'll show you a little bit of the area, and there's one important part that I left out besides showing you what I'm doing right now. And then I'm going to get into talking about Marco Rubio, Tulsi Gabbard, of course you can't miss this, and you know, some other signs of things that are going on right now. So here's the eternal flame, and these people have to stand still. Of course, when you get a little bit more training, these people will be very still. They're already very still, as you see. You know, you don't move, and these people are learning to march, very relaxed at the moment. There's a Belarusian flag on a screen, and there is a television station antenna. And I'm going to go over in the same area where I was before, but there was one landmark I forgot to leave out. But on the way, I'll be talking to you about some of the news and things that have gone on, maybe this past week. And we'll be doing this. Okay, let's go down into the metro. This is the Ploshad Pobyeды, which is Victory Square. I guess there's 4 main squares in Minsk, and that's one of them, Ploshad Pobyeды. There used to be a Ploshad Lenina, and this maybe should have been called Ploshad Lenina, and I'll show you why in a little bit here. But Ploshad Lenin, I think, is now, I think it's called Ploshad Nezavisimosti, and that's near the train station, so of the main squares. So here's what it's like down here, and they talk a lot about partisans and people in the military, you know, that lost their lives. And well, you know, sorry if you guys maybe don't want to hear another World War II deal, but you know, you really have to talk about this stuff in Belarus. Belarus, in truth, paid the biggest sacrifice in World War II, more than any country, more than Germany, more than Russia, more than any country, more than Ukraine, more than Poland. The largest percentage of the population of any country that died in World War II was Belarus, and nobody ever talks about that. Over 30% of the people perished in World War II. Villages, 200 villages were completely destroyed and slaughtered. So I don't know how many. I guess I'm going the wrong way here. It's a tricky it's a tricky metro station. I might have mentioned in the last one when I was here 2 videos ago that this is called, used to be called Circle Square, not Ploshad Pobyeды, not Victory Square. So because it's round, you see the metro, it goes around in a circle like this, if you want to see it. And so let me get on to some news. You guys all know now some of these people that have been assigned to the cabinet of Trump, and there's some very good news and maybe some very bad news. And the bad news, of course, and I'll get more into it, I got some other facts about this, but as we all know, is Marco Rubio. Marco Rubio, he's like a young John Bolton or a young John McCain or Lindsey Graham, one of these people in a certain way that likes, or he has nothing against killing large amounts of people. And of course, he's acting like, oh, there's in Israel that Hamas is putting their bases underneath houses and stuff so that it's perfectly fine for Israel to be bombing these houses and killing thousands and thousands of people. And a lot of people are very disturbed about this. And as you know, Tulsi Gabbard, she was chosen as the head of national security, which is a very, very good move, because she is supposed to have oversight over, for example, the FBI, the CIA, the NSA, and other things. And she sits in a lot of these meetings with Donald Trump and talks about even national security in foreign countries, like what's going on. As you know, she's a lieutenant colonel. I think she is still in the military, in the National Guard or reserves or whatever. So the U.S., but she served in 2 wars overseas, you know, America and their usual wars. So let's show you around a little bit about the area here. Again, I'm outside on the street. And what else? And okay, Tulsi Gabbard, but that's a really, really good move. And she's not a person that likes to fail at anything. She likes to do really good at everything. She's a success-oriented person. And I guess that's one reason why Donald Trump chose her, because she's a winner. And she would be my choice for president because, I don't know, she has very good judgment in a lot of things. I don't know. Some people are too interested in watching me, like this guy with the white fuzzy coat here. I don't know. I don't want to be following him. And okay, what else? Robert Kennedy, he's supposed to be in charge of health. What is it called? HHCU or something like that. And he is even to have oversight over, like, say, NIH, which was headed by Anthony Fauci. So, in a sense, if Fauci were still there, if he didn't already retire, and I suppose he gets, I heard that he is one of the highest paid people, was, at least then, the highest paid people in the United States government. And apparently, when they talk about how much salary he had, his salary, I believe, when he was still there, was higher than the President of the United States. So it's not like Fauci acting like he didn't get any kind of a payoff for, doing what he did. And we all know what he did. And Robert F. Kennedy is one that exposed him and showed a lot about him. He knows a lot about Fauci, and a lot of people think that he is so bad, Fauci, that he should not only have been put in prison for the rest of his life, probably got the death penalty, because he's messed up a lot of people. You're talking tens of thousands of people, and I guess I'm one of them. He should have been at least in prison. So, what the heck is going on here? Looks like maybe they're shooting a movie. Let's go watch. They're shooting a movie here in Minsk. So it looks like this is maybe it's supposed to be snow. I have no idea. Maybe in the background you can't tell. I don't know. I probably am not supposed to be here. I'll just see, and maybe they'll kick me out a little bit earlier than I want to, or whatever. I don't know. Or is this a movie or what? Filming the people that are filming. A little bit interesting for you guys here. Looks like fake snow here. So, I guess I gotta get out of here. People are giving me some funny looks, though. It's like some kind of Christmas lights they're putting up over there. Okay, well, let's get out of here. I don't want, the government actually requires that people that work for the government or any of these agencies, that they treat people with calmness or kindness and things like that. So it's not normal that anybody's really going to come up to you and start chewing your ass out in Belarus, because it's really frowned on, especially by the government. And I think they get in trouble if they really come and get real nasty with people. That's one reason why Belarus is a much better country than so many other countries in the world. You never really get anybody really chewing you out. It's not like police in the United States or something, they walk around and strut around like they got a big chip on their shoulder, and they start criticizing you and pushing you around. Lots and lots of police are like that. So they don't do that here. And some people might even say, oh, it's a police state in Belarus. But yeah, the truth is it's exactly the opposite. Now, things got hot in 2020, granted, and a lot of people talk about that, but I don't know. There's just something. If you're a weak leader and you let this sort of thing happen when people are trying to take over your country, overthrow your government, I'm sorry, you deserve maybe to get your government overthrown, but as it shows, like when you talk about Ceausescu or anything like that, you got to learn the lessons of history. And I think that Lukashenko was a history major as well as a farmer, so he knows what happened, and so he's not going to sit back and let these people overthrow the government like the United States has admitted they were trying to overthrow the government in 2020. So say that for what it's worth. Okay, now what I left out the last time when I was here in this area was this house. And of course I told you that one of these places up here is where Lee Harvey Oswald lived. He's the guy that they say assassinated Kennedy, but things have said come out much differently. On the building it says 1952. So a nice house, a little nice area. But I didn't talk about this house. And look at this symbol. I've been here before, like I say. And this house, I believe it was in 1898, and there was a very, very big secret meeting here. 13 people came, and it was supposed to be in a very, very secretive, and nobody was supposed to talk about it. And everybody was supposed to keep, no records were taken. And if there were going to be anything written, it was going to be destroyed, because it was I don't know, very, it's similar to the, what was it, not the Continental Congress, what was that with the Constitutional Convention in, I don't even know that year, 17 something or other, when the United States was establishing a new government. And it was, of course, that time governed under the Articles of Confederation, where the first president of the United States, under those articles, his name was Samuel Huntington. So the first president of the United States was not George Washington. His name was Samuel Huntington, but it was just under a different document, under the Articles of Confederation. And, that's why they met in secret. And, it's a lot of history of the U.S., and I have to get to news. But anyway, this building right here, and there were 13 people, and 5 of them were arrested within 1 month. And one of these people his name was Vladimir Lenin. And of course, he became the one that overthrew the Tsar in 1917. The meeting took place, I think it was like 1898, and Lenin was in his 20s at the time. And there was I think somehow he got kicked out of the country. He was living in Zurich, and Germany wanted so badly to defeat Russia at that time. That was Russia, it wasn't the Soviet Union. So what they did is they took him, what was that year, 1917, and they shipped him in a railroad car. I mentioned this before, and it was all the windows were blocked out and everything. And that was kind of secretive too, and they shipped him to Russia to destabilize the country, and that was the time of World War I. And, to get Russia out of the war, and it worked. But, things are not happening the way they want now. I guess maybe that's one reason why Germany is so much now involved in going along with the United States and trying to overthrow Russia. And it's like, they've never given up. This goes way back. Technically you can go back hundreds of years, and people in the West have always been trying to overthrow Russia over and over and over again. But it's not really worked. I wonder if I'm supposed to be walking here. I don't know, because I'm within. I guess inside is like a museum. I'm not sure. Can I just walk right in, or is it even open, or do I have to pay? Should I try it? See if I get arrested. Okay, let's try it. Look at this. Probably somebody there taking money. Sitting on the desk here. Well, why not it? It's like a blue.
Добрый день.
Добрый день. Do you speak English?
A little bit.
Yeah. What is this? Some museum? Just walk in or look or?
Yeah.
No pay?
No, you
have to pay.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't want to start fishing for money. I'm making a video and I'm recording right now, so I just don't want to.
You're recording during all the process?
Oh no, I just I don't have to go in. I think there's photos in the internet, but I'm just walking around and I noticed I'm telling people about this house.
Okay.
And just like I'm just putting it on the internet, and I don't want to have time to start fishing around for money, because actually I'm talking about geopolitics, but this was just something in the meantime. So.
Okay, may I ask you a question?
Yes.
Where are you from? If it's not the same.
Oh, I'm from many places. I'm from Germany. I'm from the United States. Born in the United States. Lived in the Caribbean for 20 years.
Oh, wow.
So a lot of places.
Okay. Interesting.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks. Anyway. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah. Looks like this is going to be a different type of video than normal. So let me get into news now. Mostly I was just got through a lot of this stuff. So let's see, I have a little thing here. Oh, let's get into the news. Some of these amazing things that have been happening. Did you all know, and this is admitted, they said Zelensky admits that they're trying to make a nuclear bomb. Some people say it will happen in a couple of weeks, which I doubt very much. And some people are saying about 2 months. And then some people say like 6 months that it's going to take for them to make a nuclear bomb. And the deal is that getting a big nuclear bomb, because they really they really want to get Russia. These people, like I said, they're really, really sick in the head. These are really sick people. And the United States should be really ashamed of themselves. Matter of fact, whoever is the one that came up with this idea to use Ukraine and turn it into an anti-Russia, to attack Russia and to get they want Russia's resources. You drop some nuclear bomb there and it's going to be contaminated soil. That's not going to really work too well. And I think the US maybe doesn't like that. Trump is coming in, some crazy stuff. But Zelensky, he used to be rational, I think, when he was running for office of president, and then he got it. But then something happened, and who knows what that is. Maybe he was won over, maybe, some sort of threats. There's a lot of leaders, and a lot of this stuff happens. They threaten you, and you have to do what they say, or else they're going to kill. A lot of people don't mind if they get killed, but they'll kill their family and things. And there was this confession, so to speak, of this actor, Rob Schneider. He's a comedian, and he was talking about that. He was, I think, maybe saying some things, and some people warned him that if he does that, and it costs these people money, because he talks politics, and I believe he's a Republican, and that's a no-no in Hollywood. And but they said if whatever he says, if it costs them money, that they're going to get him. They said, and basically they were saying dead, killing him or killing relatives and things like that. He even said that on video. So he said, "Oh, I got to stop." So he stopped talking politics at that time. So that's how that is. So, and you probably see that. Maybe I should have showed him more. Some military guys. Looks like he's an important person. Impotent. Okay. But anyway, the bomb that they're probably planning on making, and a lot of people have noticed this, is, and they've been talking about this for weeks, Ukraine has been gathering used nuclear material. In other words, they're trying to make a dirty bomb, and they could probably do that a lot faster than making a proper nuclear bomb, which they'd have to fire off like as a missile or something of some sorts. And a dirty bomb, it might be a little bit different. They can probably use that a lot more, and that will contaminate large areas of soil and everything. And I think that is what they want to do. They want to, and as you've been watching, if you guys have been watching the news, and maybe you don't get the news in the United States if some of you are there, because a lot of this is blocked. So what they're doing is they're killing civilians mostly. I think maybe the troops are too well guarded, so the Ukrainians are attacking cities like Belgorod and at some points in time, not Rostock, I get them mixed up. Rostov. I get part of the one in northern Germany mixed up. Rostov on Don, so on the Danube River. So this is a television station over here. That is ONT. It's one of the major government stations in Belarus. If you want to know, that's a tower, of course. And let's see what else. Yes, but the word has it, and Zelensky, of course, has admitted this. He's put it out in video that he is making, if they do not get more money from the United States, like if Donald Trump comes in and doesn't send more billions and billions, that they're going to make a dirty bomb and set it off. Basically, what Zelensky said. And as far as money is concerned, was it Ursula von der Leyen said that very soon, maybe within the next month, Zelensky's going to get another 4 billion. I think it was 4.1 billion. And this year already, he's got 17 billion from the EU. And who knows how many billions he's got from the United States. And, and now they're starting to draft people from the age of 14 up to the age of 70. And there's people, and I've talked to some people here, that what they do, the route normally what they take to leave Ukraine is first they go into Poland, then they go from Poland maybe to Lithuania, and then they come over into Belarus, and then from Belarus they go to Russia. And a lot of people are scared, and they have relatives over there in their 50s, like 58 years old, and it looks like they're going to be trying to draft them and send them to the front line to die for the Nazis. So they're running out of people. You hear a lot of things. I don't know, but that's just one thing, and that comes from a person that's Ukrainian, and they're in distress right now, and they're trying to think of ways how to get some of their relatives out. So let me see some of my other news here. Let's see, did I have anything else? There's something about money. Okay. Ursula von der Leyen, like I said, she promised the 4 billion. That'll come very soon. No, it's 16 billion they got. Oh no, they had 17 billion from this last year, and this year they still have 16 billion coming within the next 12 months to get there. And of course, this is money stolen from Russia. And I don't know if Russia's going to take too kindly to this. The frozen assets. I think they have altogether 300 billion of money that they stole from Russia. Crazy people. And yes, what else? Is there anything related to that? Maybe not of anything more about Ukraine and Russia, but some sort of a side note that's kind of close to that. I guess it was put out now by people in the Trump administration that the number one goal of Donald Trump is not to end the wars. It is not to end the wars, but it is to split Russia and China. They've now become friends, as the U.S. was very scared for a long, long time that of this relationship between Russia and Germany, and of course they worked on trying to separate them, because it was a relationship made in heaven, where Russia has lots of energy and Germany has lots of production, and of course the wealth of Germany over many decades comes from cheap Russian energy. And Marco Rubio, that goes right along with what Marco Rubio just said. He said that it's just common sense that Russia blew up their own pipeline, and it's like, well, common sense. Well, what is that common sense? I can't remember what he said, why it's common sense that Russia blew up their own pipeline and was at least 30% of their revenues, the source of their revenue. So they want, and that happened, of course, during the time of the Ukraine war. It wasn't before that time. Germany was already going under big time, even before the special military operation. But when that pipeline blew up, Germany was doomed. And matter of fact, she doesn't want to hear her name, but I have a very nice subscriber, and that's her description of Germany all the time: doomed Germany. And it's you have to read the comments, you'll find out. Maybe she'll get this video too. Maybe she'll make a comment. But she was also one that informed me a lot more, and I didn't really know this, but back in the past of Olaf Scholz, that he was investigated for corruption as he was the mayor of Hamburg, and I think it was to do with real estate. And it makes you really wonder, why is he such a puppet? He's everybody used to talk about Great Britain and like Tony Blair being the puppy or the lapdog of the United States, but Olaf Scholz is an even bigger puppet of the leaders of Biden. At least he was. Well, Biden's still there, than any leader of the UK was. And like there was one time there was a press conference. I mentioned this because it sticks out to me very much, when Biden is there next to Olaf Scholz, and Biden is saying he's going to stop the Nord Stream pipelines, and I think it was Oscar Lafontaine. I mentioned that on that video that I was walking in this area too, and Oscar Lafontaine, who ran against Helmut Kohl back in the 1980s to be the leader of Germany, he said Olaf Scholz just stood there like a scolded schoolboy, and Biden could just go ahead and say that, basically saying, we're going to take out your source of energy, and by connection, of course, we're going to make you a very poor country. And and then you think about part of this also part of this coalition, Annalena Baerbock, when she said in English, and I guess maybe you can find the tape, is she doesn't care about the people, the voters of Germany. She cares more about Ukraine, and here she is. I mean, that's incredible. And you all know that she used to be somebody working for the World Economic Forum, and you can't make this stuff up, and it looks like it's really purposeful that they're destroying Germany. It makes you wonder, this cabal of people here. Along with that, some news, and it looks like BMW, Mercedes, and Audi. I think an Audi is connected with that's Volkswagen Group, and I think, but somebody said it was Audi, what I read. But what they're heavily considering, all three of them, is not to move to China, and not even to move to the United States, and I think maybe they're already manufacturing in the United States, but to move to to Russia. Can you imagine that? To the big hateful enemy. See, most of this is all about China as well, and they're scared, these auto companies, that they're going to be gone. They're going to be gone, and a lot of them, some people are saying they're already gone. They're just running on gas fumes, cars, gas fumes, and they're already gone. I don't know about that, but who knows what kind of resources they have, but they're heavily considering on moving their manufacturing to Russia. And Russia, you know, Chinese labor costs are going up, and maybe they're getting close to whatever Russian labor costs are. I don't know. Your pay in Russia is not that bad. In Belarus, it's not as good. I have to admit that. And but of course, energy costs. That's a big deal when you're like manufacturing cars. You know, you need a lot of water as well, and a lot of the water gets contaminated, so to speak. You can treat it and all, but you know, and I think most of the time they are. But you need a lot of energy, and Russia has the energy, and China buys energy from Russia. So you can bet that the energy is much cheaper in Russia, of course, than in China. Matter of fact, some people make videos of Russians, and they have their heat all the way up, and I think they even have a camera, and it's going 24 hours or something. They have their heat all the way up and their windows wide open, just to show everybody how cheap the energy is, and how, you know, like heating your house and all that sort of deal in Russia. And believe it or not, you know, they know that I was growing coffee, and somebody, you know, I had good coffee, I have to admit that. A lot of celebrities and royal people and leaders of countries drank my coffee. I don't know if they still do. I had to sell the business, but anyway. And but somebody had said that they would look into, and that I should look into it myself, is to growing coffee in a greenhouse in Russia. You know, coffee, you have to have a lot of coffee. And of course, as you know how that is, scarcity. If you have little coffee, you know, you can ask a higher price than if you have a lot of coffee. Brazil has a lot of coffee, but nevertheless, by the time you go buy it in the stores, it's not really expensive, but it's not really cheap either. And I have to also admit that Brazil, that's probably the best coffee for the money that you can find anywhere. It's called Cerrado Brazil, mostly is what it is, and it's a smaller bean, but the processing is good, and it's very clean. They don't, I don't know, I don't want to talk about coffee, but crema, everything is good. Very good coffee for the price. I don't think it can be beat, to be honest with you. That's just a sideline. Okay, yeah, Russia blew its pipeline, I have that here. And there was a rumor, I don't know if this is true, I haven't really seen that in much of any other news, but somebody told me that kind of a person that looks at these real news, he said that Netanyahu flew to Russia and met with Putin, and a lot of this is about moving Palestinians or something to Russia. I don't know if that's true, so I just thought I'd put that out. Maybe some of you guys have heard that. And I already mentioned Tulsi Gabbard, and I didn't mention Robert Kennedy. He's in charge, I did mention him. He's in charge of the health and all that sort of a deal. But there's one thing I also want to say. You know, a lot of us were displeased with Trump by putting a lot of neocons in some important positions, and of course the big one, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, nasty young guy, you know, really full of hate, you know. So that's a real bad thing. But I'll tell you what, I have a hunch. It's just a hunch. I'll be amazed if this actually comes true. But you realize, I think Tulsi Gabbard was looking at SecDef becoming the Secretary of Defense. But there's that other position, which is the Secretary of State, and that has also to do with defense. And believe it or not, of course, Tulsi Gabbard, she is in a position, and that's related to, obviously, national defense. That's what she's there, and national security is what her job is. And so, but if you guys know how politics works, and I know how this works, and a lot of you already know this too, because you've seen signals, you've heard from other people. Jesse Ventura, he admitted it when he became governor of Minnesota that as soon as he became governor, some people came to him, guys in suits, and they said, okay, you're governor, but we run the place, and you do what we tell you to do. And you remember Victoria Nuland, when she was the one that was deciding on who's going to be in the government of Ukraine? Not the Ukrainians. The United States was going to be in charge of it. So there are other people oftentimes, and a lot of time what you don't realize, I mean, you do realize, the people that watch my channel do, but a lot of other people, they don't realize, how politics works and how it works with money. And then I mentioned, what fascism is, money and politics, they're married together. And the people with the big money are the ones that are the kingmakers, as you know. Rothschilds, for example, the Queen's bankers, finances the Queen and all that. History. And if you look at history in this way, you'll find out that things are not exactly coming about like voting and things like that as you think they are. So I have a hunch, and this is a prediction, and this is maybe should give us all hope, that Trump only put Marco Rubio there. And I think Tulsi, because Tulsi Gabbard, she came out herself before, the same day I believe, or maybe the day before, before she was chosen. She was talking about that's a very bad move to put Marco Rubio in that position, because he's a nasty little guy for the most part. She said that, now she's going to have to work with this guy. But, and she said it doesn't fit what Trump's goals are or anything. And, so I'll tell you what happened was, Trump has donors. Trump could never have made it to become president of the United States. Main reason is because you need donors, and there are other people that allow somebody to become a president or they don't. And now this is kind of some interesting things. And if you all remember, there was some talking on election. I didn't watch the election really. I'm not interested in that. But apparently there was some cheating in Pennsylvania originally as the election started, and a lot of people were taking note of it. And then strangely enough, there was no real reports of any cheating anymore. If they were small, and they were not really that significant. Much different from some of the past elections. A lot of cheating, as you all know. Even during Hillary's time, there are some people that said they voted 8 times for Hillary. They were going on a bus from one poll to the next, and they were bragging, and they did it on video. I voted for Hillary 8 times. That's what they said. So, and like it said, it was a lot of the cheating was ended immediately. So there was a deal made, the art of the deal, Donald Trump. And I think, I predict that part of that deal was to put Marco Rubio where he's at right now. And we have to maybe hope that there's going to be a time when Marco Rubio is somehow going to screw up, maybe John Bolton wise, maybe, you won't see what the screw up is, but there will be one. I'm thinking, and maybe if you get, say for example, maybe 1 year, maybe 2 years of Tulsi Gabbard being trained in the positions where she's at right now of national security, and then say, oh, Marco Rubio, for some odd reason he has to leave, and then there's going to be a reshuffle in the cabinet, and who is going to be a likely choice maybe to be a Secretary of State? Very possible. A lot of people were even choosing Tulsi Gabbard as a running mate for vice president, and I would like to see that. She is possibly by far the most capable woman, in my opinion, woman politician in the United States. And Kristi Noem, governor, I think she was South Dakota. I think Trump is, what position she's in, I don't know. But anyway, she's kind of a little, she's got a little bit of problems too. She's not a Tulsi Gabbard. But anyhow, so it would be very interesting if Tulsi Gabbard gets switched possibly to Secretary of State, or maybe they put somebody else in Secretary of State and Tulsi Gabbard gets Secretary of Defense. That's very possible. I'm just putting that out as a possibility. So, we can look at that. Okay, and I end like I normally always end, again, videos talking about Israel. They're just bombing Beirut, just even Beirut alone. I think they had 30 bombing attacks on Beirut, on the city, and they're still bombing in southern Lebanon. So this is so similar to what's going on. Gaza is a much smaller place, but I don't know, maybe you have the same amount of bombing going on. And of course they bombed Syria twice. Really, this guy is really, and has Syria attacked Israel at all? And probably never. You know, and they say, oh, Iran is over there, and Iran's behind Hezbollah. A lot of these are projections and not necessarily true. But anyway, they're bombing places in northern Lebanon, historic cities. I think Byblos is one of the oldest cities on planet Earth. You know, some heritage things, and they're dropping bombs in places there. You know, it reminds you, I think, I might have mentioned this, of ISIS. You know, ISIS, you know, bombing Muslim shrines. So staunch Muslims bombing their own heritage. Does that make sense to you? And I think I already said maybe in the video, because it pisses me off so much, that ISIS is actually, they're not Islamic people. They're you know, whatever. I'm not against any religion or something. But I don't like this branch in Judaism called Zionism. You know, and I saw some guy who said he's a Christian, and he says, oh, I'm in favor of Zionism. And of course there are Zionist Christians as well, but there's another guy who knows him, you know, and has to see him quite a bit, who's a Muslim, and he says he doesn't think this guy is a Christian. He says that this guy's probably Jewish, and Jewish doesn't bother me, but Zionist Jewish, well, Zionist Christians are also kind of crazy. But so anyway, that's enough about that. And so I think maybe, I'll tell you what, I had some subscribers leave, and then the last video I got them back. I got 3 back again. I don't know if it's about Christianity they don't like, or something I said about Trump. I don't know. I'm just hoping that Trump, I don't know, there's a lot of hope, a lot of hope still. You know, everybody was devastated when he put Marco Rubio there and some other neocons. So let's hope things are going to work out. And like I say, it's probably because investors paid him and they told him, you are going to put these people in these positions, and he did it. And maybe he's got some checks and balances to make sure these people don't do anything too nasty, you know, and he's gonna have oversight anyway, you know, like he had over John Bolton and Nikki Haley, you know. And so it didn't turn out as bad as it should have been, you know, during that time. Okay, what else? The Ukrainian government, they really hate Tulsi Gabbard. You know, and Tulsi Gabbard, she's been playing along with Israel, saying, oh, Israel, this, you have to play along. If you do not act like at least that you're in favor of Israel, you're not going to have any future in politics. I've already mentioned that. But Ukraine, I guess you can say you dislike Ukraine. And Ukraine hates Tulsi Gabbard, you know. And Tulsi doesn't like Rubio. And you know how Ukraine is. They don't have anything against staging assassinations and things like that in foreign countries, or doing all sorts of nastiness. And of course they have some people that are backing them, maybe even Europeans. Yeah, blah blah blah. Actually, I'm glad I'm not ending with Israel. So also, what is also, but this is true, it's not a rumor, I guess Elon Musk has met with the Iranian ambassador to the United Nations, trying to talk to him about finding ways to relieve tensions between the United States and Iran. You know, I guess I would start off with saying that, you know, that Trump should stop assassinating some of their important people. You know, I'm just saying, I don't know. So, you know, Elon Musk, you never know. Apparently he was involved in doing some nasty things in Venezuela. Is that true? I don't know. If he was, that's bad, but otherwise, you know, maybe he's going to be doing some good things here and maybe trying to gain peace. You know, a lot of people like Lukashenko and all that realize that stability, peace, and, you know, wars are not a sign of stability, and you can do a lot better business unless you're in the business of war, you know. But if you're not in the business of war, then of course money can be made and prosperity happens, people are happy and all that, if there is no war. So maybe Musk is against this sort of thing. I don't know. But you get other people, as you know, they make profits on war and they love war. And you know there's a lot of people in the States. Banks love war. I don't know. So that's about it. Anyway, I didn't even say the date, did I? I guess it's the 15th of November 2024. But so just put this out, and that's 40 minutes, another long video. A lot of people don't watch these long videos, but maybe, you never know, maybe somebody will forward it to somebody else, and I'll get some views. Okay, well, thanks for joining me, people, and I'll see you on the next one. So bye-bye.